In Sea of Thieves, things rarely go as planned, especially when you're giving it a go as a solo Reaper. Things tend to get a little chaotic, and honestly downright complicated. But just a little bit. If there's one thing you can do fast and easy, it's losing all your loot, and in turn, big money. If you want to avoid that, you should check out my previous video to learn how to make money instead of losing it. But wait! You should definitely watch this one first, because in order to know how to succeed, it's very useful to know how to fail. We learn from our mistakes after all. Little did I know what awaited me when I cast myself that day. I was determined and on a mission, a sunken ship mission, with a Reaper's emissary flag. It seemed my voyage had been blessed with fortune, as I found a most precious, beautiful and sexy harpoon rowboat by my second clue stop. Yeah, I really like harpoon rowboats. Perhaps a little bit too much. I wonder? The captain's key presented itself shortly after, and so everything was set for a great start to this money-making journey. And all was going to plan actually. But that's when the ancient gods of Sea of Thieves struck. Apparently they thought I had been a bit too lucky and decided to summon a skeleton by the nearest island to blast me and my ship out of the water. They failed to hit me, but my ship had at this point decided to practice its acting skills by imitating the Titanic to quite an impressive level if you ask me. Fortunately, the trusty rowboat, oh yeah, had survived, and I loaded all the loot onto it and rowed it to the very island that my vile skeleton aggressor called home. My new plan was to park my tiny hand-driven boat here, get my slightly less tiny sail-driven boat, and pick up all the good stuff. But not before I punish this fucker. Retribution! When I returned to this evil island, there was a noticeable lack of robots around. But the loot was still there. Enough time had been wasted, and I was eager to start my second sunken ship mission. But that eagerness was for naught, since the captain's key was nowhere to be found. With a second failure, the only way to get back on track and reach Reaper tier 5 was to properly avenge my old vessel by wiping out an entire fleet of its killer's brethren. After a long and fierce fight, as usually is custom with a skeleton fleet, the loot was trying its best to slip away. This could absolutely not be allowed, as much time and resources had been put into stealing them from the now very dead skeletons. Time was of the essence, and there had already been much time for all the crews to prepare to attack me. And just as those thoughts flew through my head, so almost did a cannonball. A Brilliantine had decided to get some easy breakfast, and I was its prey. Caught completely off guard, I would have to fight for my right to exist. This prey would not go down without a fight. A fine chain shot was delivered upon my assailants, but so too was it received. While I desperately tried to keep my ship sailing, I noticed that an unwelcome guest had invited himself onto my sloop. I chased the vermin away, but to no avail, as he made a second attempt and took me down with the most despicable of guns. Despite my best efforts, my first attempt had been a complete failure. But likewise, I was determined and ready for a second one. Fortune smiled upon me once more straight away, as I found a shiny nice flag by the docks. But my hopes were soon dashed again, as two other Reapers executed a pincer maneuver on my position. Fortunately, it was not to take me down or force my surrender, but rather to recruit me into an alliance to wage war on a mighty galleon. I could simply not turn down such an offer, and contribute the best I could to the war effort. The galleon was a formidable opponent, but there were simply too many of us. Like a pack of hyenas, we crippled the mighty lion before delivering the final blow. Even though my contribution had been vital for our victory, I decided to offer my allies the spoils as a token of goodwill. I hoped this would deter them from ambushing me later on, but as soon as I reached the nearest port to stock up on supplies and sunken ship missions, I was betrayed and attacked by the very people I have fought alongside. I delayed for far too long to defend myself in a hope to avoid a fight, and was thus quickly defeated. But third time's the charm, as they say, and it sure was. If you want to see the full story of my successful third attempt, check out my previous video and learn how you can make big money as a solo reaper. The hit registration is far superior on YouTube than Sea of Thieves, so I can guarantee you that you will hit the button with a thumb pointing in the northward direction if you give it a go. Jokes aside, it would help me out a lot if you did so. I want to thank each and every one of you, my friends, for the amazing response on the previous video. I've been making videos for a long time and I've never experienced anything like that amazing response before. It has truly been an exciting couple of weeks. Huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed. If you are not subscribed, I would be honored if you chose to do so, and maybe it is in your interest. For the next video I plan to make will be about a Reaper's last stand. My name is Captain Thorrork, and it has truly been an honor.